this is Susan here with River Tropics, and we're continuing with the series Get Down and Dirty. This one here, we're going to do two different types of planters. One is getting shady, and the other one is going to be getting baked. Okay, so with these two different planters, I'm just going to kind of do them the same, but to add different things that will do well in the shade on one, and stuff that will do well in the sun on the other, and that way you can create your own depending on where you're going to be putting your planters. I'll show you a few of the things that I've got here, and then we'll get started, all right? Okay, so I've selected a variety of different items here. I've got some Echeveria. I've already started by filling the pots, and I put the elephant bush in and a large rock at the back to give it a little bit of support. I've picked out a couple of plants, one which is a little bit on the shady and sun. Of course, we have some Empomia here, which will do well in either sun or shade, as will the frost there. And I've also picked up some additives. I found this great big rock. I love it. And I also found this nice purplish colored one here. And I thought it was unique. But these are going to work well. I'm going to be putting them in the planter and using those as a support to put the Buddha head on. Okay? And then I'm going to add a little bamboo to the back of it. And these will be kind of like a Zen. So you can get creative with your own. I also got some Lysimachia here to do trailing outside of, and I've also picked up the mini aloe. It may come in handy for different things. And of course, as always, I will probably be getting some different types of rocks and stuff to put in around it. So I'm going to hook the camera up now, and we're going to go to work. Okay, so I've got the two planters, and I've gone and wet them down a little bit. Because oftentimes when you're working with deep planters such as this, the soil will sink after you put something in it. And I've already put the two elephant bushes in with the rocks, as I said, and I had to really press the soil in order to get them to stay where I wanted. But since we're going to be putting such heavy rocks on the top, I wanted it to have a little dampness. So what I'm going to start with is putting a wider base rock across here, okay, or maybe I'll put it in this way. And the reason I'm doing that is so that when I sit the big rock in, as you can see here, I guess that's a little bit too big. Here we go. Get something a little smaller like this. It creates a more stable surface to put the big rock in, okay? So then you're going to push it down so that it has really good stability there. Okay, and once you get it like that, you can add some rocks around it. But right now, all I'm going to do is just push the soil in, and then I'll get more soil and put that around it. So this one here, we're getting shady with. Okay, this planter is going to be getting shady, so this here planter will do very well in the shade. Oh, I hope I can bring that up a little bit. I get it down too low. What I'm going to do is add a few little rocks to make it a little more stable. What I'm trying to do is create a surface where the Buddha can sit up on top of the rock here and won't be falling down on me. So I'm just going to grab a few more rocks and put them in along the side here. Creates a little more stability, and now we're going to see if the Buddha is going to sit up on that for me or not. Just to sit nice and flush. Now, obviously, when you're moving this, take the Buddha off. But this is the start of it here. Give it a little bit of zen, and we're going to get shady with this planter. Hopefully, I'm not sure if the angle is the right angle I got it at, but right now I'm just going to sit the other planter down so we got a little more room on the bench here to work. I'm going to remove this before I slide this over. I do not want it to fall and break. Now these planters are going to be heavy, so when you choose the location you want to put them in, I recommend leaving them there because it's going to be very, very difficult to do it otherwise. So. Okay, so get our elephant bush in here. Put that there. Now, I'm going to need something tall for the backdrop, which is I'm going to use a baby rubber tree here. It's a beautiful green foliage on this, so, and I think it'll be very showy with the light colored Buddha head. So I'm going to start by putting it in at the back. Tuck it in there, and as you put more stuff in the container, I'm not sure if you can see this or not, perhaps I should bring that up just a little bit. There, maybe that's a little better for viewing. So I'm going to bring the container around and plant this at the back. Still haven't taken enough soil out. Just wait. There we are. Loosen this excess soil. I had so much in there. So that's giving you a nice backdrop where the rock is. And what you can do, which is what I do when I'm doing planters like this and trying to be creative, I'll take it and each step of the way, I'll sit it up there and I'll say, yeah, I like that. I like the look of that, eh? So that's how I usually work with it. So I'm going to take that back out of there again. The next thing I think I want to tuck in is just a bit of frost. Now the frost will grow up and out, and it'll add little bits of white all through, and it's very, very delicate, very fine. So we're going to tuck that in there, because the place I'd like to see it the most is in front of the darker green, right at the back there. So need a few more rocks to stabilize that here at the front. The elephant tree is kind of flopped over on me, so I'm going to have to add a little more soil there. It must be the rock dragging it down. So there, okay, that's a little better. Oh, one moment please. Okay, sorry about that folks, I had a customer, so I had to go and deal with that. So I'm not exactly sure. I think we were planting the frost at this time. Okay, so I got that all in around there. Next I'm going to take an empomia. Okay, it can do well in sun or shade, and it adds a little, you know, little color, even though it's not actually a flowering plant. But this here is going to trail down over the side. We're just going to dig out a little bit and tuck it in there. Now this will just continue to get big and trail down over the side, okay? And it gives you a little punch of line in there. No flowers yet except for on the frost. This here planter is not going to have flowers, okay? We're not doing flowers, something you got to pluck off and clean up all the time. We're going to stick with the foliage plants, okay? So now that we've got that, I'd like to take one of the Echeveria that I have. Hold on. Okay, this is going to have this here particular. For just one moment, I'm going to get the red hen and chicks, because I think that will look really good in there. So, and I'm just going to get a cluster of them, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone and got a little cluster of hen and chicks that I think that is the color that I want in there. So I'm just going to pull off all the excess soil here and get these tucked in here. Oops. Too many roots from there. Pulled them out of one of the big planters that I had. So what I have to do is make sure I weave it around and get all these babies tucked in. There, and that gives it a little punch of color. And like I said, I wasn't looking to do any kind of blooms this time. Just going to focus on the and then we need to put a little rock. Okay, now this rock I found in the yard and I really liked it, okay? So what I've gone and done is I found matching rocks, smaller ones like this. I'm just going to use them in different areas, like maybe over here. See there? And then I do believe I found another one, which is this one, which I think I'll put on that side. Now I've also picked up some Lysimachia, which is a trailer, okay? It grows all around my yard, so I'm just going to tuck it at the back, just to have a little something trailing down the back side of it. I'm also going to turn around. Okay. Now this is Silver Falls. It's a great plant. You can get this at Lowland Gardens. A lot of the plants that I get them at Lowland Gardens. It's located in Great Village, Nova Scotia. But what I'm going to do is I want a little bit of silver coming down to offset from the Buddha head here. So I'm going to take this, and I don't want a great big pot of it because it's just too much. So I'm going to split it just like this. And then I have myself a smaller piece that I can tuck in at the front here. There. That looks a little bit better there. I have to put a couple little stones in there. It's a little washed gravel. Now I'm just going to push that down in a little bit more and add a little soil in around that. This will creep along and trail down over the front really nicely. Now there's just one more thing I want to do is add a couple of bamboo sticks to the back to give it some height. So I'm just going to take this bamboo stick here and I'm going to drive it all the way in, as you can see. And then I'll get another one and just drive it in a little bit like that. And it sounds like I got another customer, so I'm going to have to pause again and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back again. Okay, so we got pretty much, I got the bamboo stuck in there. We got this. I think I'll add a few more rocks and pebbles just around the very front here. I want this rock to show more than the others, so I'm just going to throw that back there and put that up like that. So you can see the same pattern in the stones here. That's probably all I'm going to do there. The only thing is I was looking at this and it looks like I'm bare back here. And I think what I'd like to have is a grass, but I'm not sure if that would do it. But I think the Carax is the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to get that out and tuck that in at the back just to give it that flow. Bear with me for a moment, I'll get this out. And since it's so big, I'm going to have to break down the roots quite a bit in order to get it to fit in there. So, get a lot of soil off it to make it fit. It will expand again once it gets in there. So I'm just going to turn this around now. There is lots of room behind the bamboo sticks. So I'm just going to get that out, get this tucked in there. Making sure you get all your roots in. Push this forward a little bit. Bring this over to just behind the rock. Add a little soil of the roots to be put down in. Add a little more soil there. I'm also going to take a few more stones. Get this excess soil out. And add a little there. Continue to spread it around so you can see it from the back side here as well. A bit there. And I think my Lysimachia needs to be put in here. Chuck it in. That adds a little there. Now I'm not going to put any more stones around this because it's putting some more shoots up to make it more of a spray, so I'm going to leave that. And so here we are. That's the end of that. I'm just going to, at the very front here, I'd like to, instead of these here, move them back here. At the front now, I'm going to go around. I found these cute little stones like this, so one can put one of these in. Just going to slip one of those in at the very front like this, and just lay it like that in there, and then there you have it. So that there is our planter, and if you want to get shady, this is the one to do it with. Okay, next we're going to put up the second Buddha planter. Okay, and this still keeping with the same theme, only we're going to get baked with that one. So I'm not sure how long this is. If I have to do a separate segment on this, it's possible. So if that's the case, I'd like you to like and subscribe and come back and get baked with me.